Hey folks, Zach Hubeck with Wireless Mythbusters, brought to you by Wave, MBSI Wave, and Last Mile Gear. And thank you so much to our sponsors, Cambium Networks. I'm here in beautiful Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, home of Vistabeam, where Matt Larson and his team are bringing internet access and bridging the digital divide to 40,000 square miles of Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska. We're here to talk about the very myth of if federal subsidy is abound, why can't we just use fiber all the time? I'm gonna meet with Matt and a couple players from his team. We're gonna visit a sugar beet farm. I'm super excited to go inside. Let's have a great day. Hey folks, I'm here with Matt Larson, owner of Vistabeam. Matt, good morning. Thanks for doing this today. How are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. So Matt, why don't we start off with, tell me about the roots of Vistabeam, how you got started and where you guys are at today.
So originally I started out doing dial-up in 1997 in Western Nebraska, which is where I'm from, and we did dial-up DSL, and then we found that wireless just turned out to be the best way to try and get connectivity to the most people in our area. We started out with 3 towers in Western Nebraska and Eastern Wyoming. And over the last 20 years, we've gotten to where we have 340 infrastructure points throughout Wyoming, Nebraska, and Colorado. Wow. We cover about 40,000 square miles, and we're serving about 7,500 customers.
Awesome, I love it. So talk to me about your relationship with Cambium and why you trust them with your network.
So we've got a great relationship with Cambium. They provide us really good support. We just started using Cambium relatively recently. What we find is Cambium's really well set up to scale. There might be other radios that look like they're a little bit easier to set up front, but when you are going out and trying to deploy hundreds or thousands of units, you really want something that's going to be very predictable in how it's configured and how it performs. And that's where Cambium has been very easy to work with. They've got great tools like Link Planner to do the planning out ahead of time. And then we're now starting to use CN Heat, which tells us exactly who we can serve, right down to the point of where on the roof we can mount the equipment to provide service to the customer. You know, when I first started, there was a lot of guesswork in what was going on. And now with Cambium gear, we've got the tools and we've got the equipment to go out and build a replicatable business model that we know is going to be capable of providing reliable, fast service to our customers.
So Matt, part of your job is to make sure that network is as efficient as possible. Talk to me a little bit about Cambium's QoE solution and how that helps in the equation.
So what we've seen so far is the Cambium QoE solution makes the network more efficient. It's reduced latency by almost 10 milliseconds on the segments where we started deploying it, and it gives us the ability to assign priority levels to different types of traffic. So we can make sure that Zoom calls or any kind of video conferencing, telework, certain applications can get priority over video streaming or software downloads, that sort of thing. So that's something I think is going to be really valuable, is making sure we've got the tools there to ensure that customers' applications work the way they want them to.
Awesome, very cool. So there's a philosophy in the market of federal subsidy is abound because it is so robust and there's so much funding available. Why not just all fiber all the time? What would you say about that?
Well, part of the problem with all fiber all the time is fiber takes a long time to deploy. And it's not always, like I said, it's not always the right tool for the right job. So if you have a neighborhood or you've got a dense town area, then it makes sense to do fiber, especially if you've got friendly locals and the ability to get right away and the right kind of funding and financing to do it. But even so, it takes a long time to deploy. Then customers have to wait. And so I don't think it's fair to make people have to wait for fiber when we can give them really good wireless solutions today.
Hey folks, I'm here with Drew Wicker, Director of ISP Network Infrastructure. Drew, how you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks for doing this. So Drew, talk to me a little bit about Cambium Networks. You guys are a Cambium Networks partner and a service provider. What are some of the ways in which Cambium makes your lives a little bit easier?
Well, that's a great question. We've actually tried probably almost every brand of equipment that's out there. You know, we've been in business for a long time. Yeah. And you know, there's lots of great equipment out there, but we settled on Cambium after trialing Cambium against some of the other vendors out there. Cambium just was a little bit of a step above everyone else. I think the technical performance of their equipment meets our needs. We can put more customers on a single access point. That helps us to scale up and serve more customers without having to go out there and climb and add additional access points. So the density that we can put on a single 450M really helps us scale. The other thing that's really great is Cambium does a great job with the quality of their hardware. We don't have failures out there in the field. We're not deploying technicians and tower climbers to fix gear that's failing. Yep. In the rare case that something does fail, Cambium stands behind their product. They're excellent to work with on the warranty side of things. And then probably one of the most important aspects is their support is incredible. It feels like we have a whole team of engineers that are there to help us and help us solve problems. So having that technical expertise and those engineers that we can pick up the phone and call or open a ticket and they'll respond and help us. It's like having a whole team on our side that we probably wouldn't have the luxury to employ here at Vistabeam.
So there's a lot of folks out there, and the myth we're trying to bust today is we're talking about federal subsidy abound. People can just use fiber all the time. What would you say to folks like that based on the network and the tower environments that you guys are dealing with?
Well, I guess the way I look at it is that's like someone taking the position that the screwdriver is the only tool you ever need in your toolbox. And a screwdriver is great when you need to put in a screw. When you need to put in a nail, I'd probably rather use a hammer. So I look at technology, in an agnostic sense. We're not opposed to fiber. Fiber's tremendous. We're deploying it today, but fixed wireless is really it's the workhorse of our network. Most of the customers that have service today on our network are being served on fixed wireless equipment, and most of them wouldn't have access to broadband if it wasn't for that fixed wireless equipment. So, sure, there may be fiber built there someday, but it might be 10 or 20 years down the road. Yep. And so to exclude one very, very viable tool, I think it's going to it's going to be a hindrance to bridging that digital divide. And our goal and our focus is to deliver exceptional, extraordinary connections to customers, take great care of our customer base, meet their needs today, and plan to meet their needs for the future.
So there you have it, folks. What an amazing day with Team Vistabeam and the folks and community they serve. We've got a beautiful Scotts Bluff, Nebraska sunset in our backdrop as we wrap our day as the Team Vistabeam installs more Cambium Networks equipment to bridge the digital divide. As far as our myth, I think we've proven that you can't have just one tool for your toolbox. In most environments, fiber makes sense, where fixed wireless might make more sense in other areas. And you need both to connect everyone to the internet. On behalf of Wave, MBSI Wave and Last Mile Gear, and our great sponsors, Cambium Networks, I want to say thank you, and I can't wait to see you on our next edition of Wireless Mythbusters.